Right now, Donald Trump appears to be in full-on scramble mode. The panic radiating from the White House is striking, and honestly, he doesn't even seem to mind showing it off for everyone to see. He's throwing out these outrageous threats towards reporters, governors, and even fellow Republicans, making sure all of us catch wind of them, especially on his platform, Truth Social. It's an unbelievable display, especially with this resignation bombshell blowing up around his administration. His freakout is clearly evident. Before diving into his wild post on Truth Social, it's essential to understand what's got him so worked up. To put it simply, his time in office has been terrible. Jasmine Crockett underscored this point perfectly when she said that everything has only gotten worse.
It made everything worse. Like, it was bad the first time, so bad that he got kicked out of office. And then, unfortunately, America got amnesia, and somehow he ended up back in office. And now he is literally terrorizing everyone, from children that are born in this country to children that aren't born in this country to adults. It is really sickening. And if we are really going to get back to where we are truly great in this country, it is going to take really looking at your neighbors and seeing their humanity. Mm-hmm. He was able to dehumanize people during the election, whether it was trans folk or whether it was the immigrant. He dehumanized. And if you study anything about the Nazis, that is where it all starts, is the dehumanization. And none of us should be sitting by, even if we're not trans, even if we're not an immigrant. You have to understand that the dehumanization will come in for black folk. It will come in for women. It will come in for everyone. And
Donald Trump came in promising to improve everything on day one, but look where we are now. Everything is worse under his leadership. It's honestly hard to believe how much things have regressed. I mean, when Donald Trump took over, he inherited a robust economy from Joe Biden. There were folks out there saying Trump was going to make everything even better. But here we are. Things have actually gotten worse. The reality is everything has tanked, and it's almost indisputable that no one is better off unless they're already a billionaire connected to the administration or have the last name Trump raking in cash from sketchy crypto deals and insider trading. It's so obvious, and the polling really backs this up. Well, take a look.
Take a look. These are all November polls. The best one of the group puts him at 14 points underwater. That's the Marquette University Law School poll, tied for the worst he's ever had in that poll. Fox, 17 points underwater. Marist, 17 points underwater. The Reuters Ipsos poll, 22 points underwater. And then taking the cake, the AP North poll, 26 points underwater. When your best poll has you still 14 points underwater, you know it's truly bad, and it's as bad as 26 points underwater. We're talking about an average well underwater with the deep blue sea, swimming with the fishes.
And now this is all parties here. If you think this is bad, Harry.
If you think this is bad, what is driving these horrific numbers for Donald Trump? Well,
it's hard to wrap your head around just how wild things have gotten under Donald Trump's administration. Honestly, it's been worse than many of us could have imagined before. You can see it in the polling numbers and the recent elections we had back in November. And let's not forget, there are more special elections on the horizon that Trump needs to keep an eye on, with one coming up this Tuesday in Tennessee.
Back in January, he was close to even. He was at -4 points. Not great, but not terrible. Look at this number. 43 points underwater with independents in the most recent average of these polls. When you have 43 points underwater with independents, you know you're doing terribly. You can't win with this. If this holds for next year's midterm election, wave adios, amigos. Goodbye. See you later to that House Republican majority and that Senate Republican majority, very much in danger as well. When you take a look at the Pew Research validated voter survey going back to last year, he was basically even among independents with Kamala Harris. Now he is 43 points underwater. Whatever he is doing with independents, it ain't working.
This particular district is interesting. It's one that Trump won by 22 points. The Republican who left this seat made a quick exit after helping Trump push through what might be the most unpopular legislation he's put out there. Now, this congressman obviously thought his seat was safe for the next Republican.
This race is competitive is because the Washington Republican agenda of delivering an economy that works for everyone has not delivered. And I think it's hilarious that Republicans and their billionaire friends are trying to spend millions to save a seat that they should win without thinking. But if we flip this seat, it will send a national message that the Republican Party needs to get serious about lowering healthcare costs.
But before we dive into some of those aspects in your race, I do want to get your views on your party, because there's been a debate since last year about the way forward in the party and the like, and voters still have a very low opinion of Democrats per many public polls. Even one recent poll showed that just 29% of Americans have a favorable view of Democrats. So what about your view about your party and your party's leaders, specifically about your party's leaders? Do you have confidence in your party's leaders?
But after getting fed up with Trump, he decided to trade politics for some private sector work. Turns out not everything is as rosy as he thought. What's even crazier is that a seat Trump claimed victory in last year by a significant margin has shifted so far left thanks to Trump's disastrous budget and his administration's poor choices that have impacted cities all over the country. Now he seems to be resorting to threats to cling to this seat. In a recent post on Truth Social, he urged his followers in Tennessee's 7th congressional district to get out and vote for Matt Vanepps, who he describes as a phenomenal candidate.
Like I said, we're really grateful for the support across the political spectrum. And if you and for your listeners, the Teletown Hall also features former Vice President Al Gore, who is a Tennessee legend. So I look at it as iconic that you have Democrats from all political stripes joining in on this moment and saying, we are standing up to what is happening in Washington, and we want to be part of the solution rather than the problem.
Yeah, because some of those you are campaigning with, including AOC, have called for ICE to be abolished. You have been sharply critical of the ICE raids in Nashville, but do you think that ICE should be abolished?
Like I said, I've got 48 hours to flip this congressional.
Trump claimed this opponent is against everything he stands for, saying she hates Christianity, wants to take away guns, supports open borders, is all about transgender athletes in sports, and doesn't have a kind word for country music. He went on to say those exact words. There's proof of it on tape.
And have been dogged about the message of affordability. And that's not what I'm hearing in the district. What I'm hearing is people, especially rural voters, are driving 4 hours to a hospital without care. We've got veterans that are going without, care because the VA hasn't been fully funded. And so these aren't the issues that I'm hearing about in the district. What I am hearing about is that grocery costs are high, utility bills are high, rent is high, and there's no kind of end in sight. And so my message has been one.
He warned not to take this election lightly, asserting the radical left Democrats are pouring a ton of money into this race to defeat one of the best candidates they've ever had. He even declared that he fully endorses Vanepps, insisting he will never let the voters down. It's quite the endorsement considering how his past promises have held up. It's honestly hard to believe the mess Donald Trump has gotten himself into with the Republicans. Just a while ago, he claimed he would never let them down, and now they're furious with him. It's amusing how he thinks insulting Afton Bain, who, by the way, is an amazing candidate we'll hear more about soon, by saying she has a disdain for country music and hates MAGA is some sort of clever jab. Let's be real, though. Those statements are just flat-out false. No one has more disdain for Trump supporters than he does. He's openly mocked them, thinking they're fat and ugly. And truth be told, he's the one projecting here since those descriptions fit him too. But beyond that, he assumes they're all pretty stupid. Why do you think he pulls off the grifting game he does? It's not out of respect for their intelligence. He definitely considers them gullible big dummies. And if you're still falling for his nonsense in the year of our Lord 2025, well, I'm sorry to say, but you might just be falling into that category too. So, it cracks me up that his criticism of such a great candidate comes from that angle. This race we're looking at might be one of the most important we've seen since Trump's election, maybe since the midterms. Sure, there are lots of crucial races, but you're going to want to keep an eye on this incredible candidate that we need right now. Even if this is just another congressional race, with a district that leaned heavily towards Donald Trump, turning it around could send a powerful message. It might even trigger some resignations, getting us closer to Mike Johnson losing that gavel as speaker before the midterms, and that would be something to celebrate. It's crucial to keep fighting in this race, and there's still a chance to get involved. If you want to support this effort, hitting that subscribe button is a great way to start. A like on this video would be awesome too, especially if you made it to the end. And don't forget to drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep the momentum going and remember, don't let anyone silence you.